to so many brains, much better than mine. What I'm going to give is just my little knowledge I have from being a counselor about a couple of years now, 2014. Before I start off, Nikhilji came to me and said, how would you relate yourself with Bharat? I would say, Janani Janmabhumicha Swargada Figuriyasi. That means where your mother, with your motherland, is the place where heaven is. And always I do believe that. And we think we have given the world many things that today has come up as their own. And in politics, I have learned one thing different from Indian politics, that in India, usually you come up with an idea, the idea is taken as their own and presented to the higher officials. But in the political system here, I have found out that you might have just given that idea to one person somewhere. It would have come up that Geetha told me on so-and-so day that this is the idea. And this is what we need to develop back home to start with innovation. And when it comes to innovation, my inspiration, Chandrababu Naidu. When he started off his career, long back, the first thing he came up when he became the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh in 90s. He told people that, you know what, we are having a lot of water problems. The first thing we need to learn is to harvest rainwater. And for that he said, every person in their own house, please dig a small well and just divert the water that is coming from your roof into your that small well. That will increase. And everybody laughed at him. Why would I dig a well in my house? And it was the olden days idea that we used to have wells. I don't think we'll do it. Today, every household in Hyderabad is looking at a well. That is how many years? About 10-15 years down the lane. Nobody listened to him when he first started his innovative idea. But as you go forward, the same idea has materialized. The only difference is, as Professor Solmanji said, that for us to take that forward, we need a lot of people working together in collaboration with each other. And for that, what I would say is the dedication and commitment, not only from the community, from the leaders as well. UK, when for 200 years, Britishers ruled us. And when they came to India, the situation back home here was, for one bread, about 20 people were killing each other. Can you imagine anybody, when there is a problem in your own house, your house is on fire, and you go and try to get somebody to help that problem? No, you wouldn't think about it. You would first think about solving your problem internally and then go outside. But what they did, they went for trade in every possible country around the world, got the resources to solve their problem. Right from the food to the politics, they have built their country. So this is what we should work on. And for this, not just the government, we need community engagement. Community engagement comes where, like a small example from where I come from, what I am doing, is the school places. I work for a small city in Milton Keynes, and in that my ward is quite small, that is Tatano ward. In that we have about 10-15 schools, and each school we have seats. But thanks to Indian migration into Milton Keynes, because of the development, we have a lot of Indians migrating from London to Milton Keynes, because it is the most happening town. And because of that, there is a lot of pressure on the school places. And there was some system called, what do you call, a prioritization. That is, there is a waiting list and the school places are allocated. But what had happened is they did not know, the officers did not know what to do. So what they came up is, they put out a consultation paper which nobody knew where it was. And then they said, okay, we have consulted for one whole year, nobody came up with any request, so we are taking these waiting lists off. So what happened when people started going and looking for those waiting lists, they don't find their kids' place. So then they said, oh, what happened to the waiting list? So then the political leaders came into picture, like me. So what happened to the waiting list until a kid comes and says that I am not getting a place? So when I looked into the paper, they had a consultation happening for one whole year. And where was the paper? The paper was on the website, somewhere hidden, where nobody could find it. So again, okay, we said, no, we need the waiting list back because people are facing problem. Now, in order to introduce the waiting list back again, which was taken out without anybody's knowledge, it will take another 2 years of my consultation. So the consulting period is taking the whole time out. So the community engagement and consultation, where it has to be done there, and where it is not needed, need not be done. And looking at this kind of problem is where our smart cities come into picture. I don't know whether you all know this for fact, but just like Amaravati today, 40 years back, Milton Keynes was a plain white sheet, where people used to get scared to go to the places where I live because there was grass to that level, and there used to be jackals and foxes and whatnot. So people used to really get scared to go to these reasons. But today, it is the most happening place, and especially Oxley Park, where I come from, is a small place. When I bought my house in 2009, the builder said, I have only one other person in the place who belonged to India. And she said, I'll introduce you to that person so that you can talk. Today, we can actually say, we are looking for, where are the Britishers? We need to go and find them. Because the whole of Oxley Park is completely with Indians. And I'll put a proposal very soon if we could change the name from Oxley Park to Oxley Peta or Oxley Puram. Or in fact, Oxley Nagar is what I'm thinking about. So, what is that we can relate Milton Keynes to the normal Amaravati. When Milton Keynes was built, it was built by two American visionaries, Milton and Keynes. That is how the Milton Keynes came into picture. When they came, they said, okay, or anywhere in any other city you take, the roads are so small, we are having a problem with traffic, everywhere there are traffic jams, so let us design a city that is so smart that we can solve these problems. That is where our grid system came into place. If you go to Milton Keynes, you have horizontal roads and vertical roads. H and B roads we call them. So within any part of thing we find a grid. And solving a problem within a grid is very easy. I'll tell you how it happens. If you have a traffic problem in one road, you can go to n number of roads to reach your destination. That is why if you can go from one corner of Milton Keynes to the other corner, the maximum time is you can reach in 10 minutes. And the second thing, what has very recently happened is there is a small, in one grid, the current was completely lost. And I don't know, some problem. But that current problem existed only to that part and no other grid was affected. That is what we are working on right now. Transportation, we have a catapult center which most probably anybody should come and visit, and I have sent a personal request to Chandrababu Naidu Garu. Next visit he should be looking at the catapult center where the transportation smart cities across the UK will be following the prototype that they are looking into. It's a huge center right from transportation, electricity, schooling, education, and your e-governance. Everything takes place at a single point with a single stroke. I was telling you where when there were problems like a trash collection from one particular place was not being able to take place. The problem from the moment it was reported to the time it was solved, it would take me nearly 2 to 3 weeks for us to get a small problem. These are my problems, like my day-to-day life, what I am facing and how it can be resolved is what I am looking at. But today there is something called interactive mapping system which is existing on our website if anybody wants to go into Milton Keynes Council website. You just click on the map and you can pinpoint to the street that you live in, and one click a window opens up. You just feed in your problem and it goes directly to n number of people with the same message on their mobiles, and whoever is free will pick up that problem and solve. And we are looking at 48 hours is the maximum that to solve any problem. And this has come into picture already. We have already done a pilot thing and already it is being implemented. The case, previously I used to have the cases, every day morning I open my mail, I used to have about 60 to 80 caseworks that I need to do. And it would take n number of days, and in between I used to miss one, and that person used to call up and Mrs. Morla had asked you for 4 days solid and this problem is not solved. But today that problem doesn't exist because they are able to get the notification. As soon as the problem is solved, they get a notification to their house with the number into an email saying that this is sorted out. If you still need further assistance, you can get back to us. So this is what the smart cities is, to reduce the amount of work that you do. Even though there is manpower, we are not cutting down the manpower, but the hours of time and energy and the man hours that used to go into one single thing has reduced to a level that we could do many things at the same time. So this is the kind of smart city we should be establishing. And I am working on something called pairing or twinning of Milton Keynes. I am having discussions with, I have proposed even to Nikhilji and Chandrababu Naidu Garu also. And that if we could pair Milton Keynes to one of the cities, whether it is in Maharashtra or in Andhra Pradesh, if we are able to pair this or twin this to a city, then we will be able to adapt the same things that are going on here and replicate it to every city in India. So thank you very much. I think I was able to tell what I wanted to. Thank you very much.
Thanks.